In the valley of the temples, a woman grates pineapple with her teeth. She spits, but brown fragments nestle in still crevices between chalk stumps in her slack jaws. Dancing her tongue from left to right, up to down, against the cracked silver that used to fill her holes, she bruises the tip. Blood squirts her gums, but that pain is small measured to the one she lives. Long, long ago, she lost her molars, her 4 pillars of wisdom, in a dogfight. She has made sawdust of crowns and caps and fillings in her longing to return to dust. At dawn, mist in the valley hangs about her like a First Communion veil. Her eyes are wet with dew. She washes her neck, her armpits with drops the broad-back Edo leaves have saved for her. She's always been a modest woman. Her name is Crystal, and her son has sent her to live in this kingdom of Oahu. Some days, oh, some days, she wants to fling herself off the poly, dive to the plains, sing with the warriors, on the way down. But a hand always grabs her at the last moment. In another time, she owned 60 white chickens, gifts from her husband to mark 25 years of coupled life. She lived then on the San Andreas Fault, and she knew, oh, she knew the chickens were his penance. But she loved them anyway, and fed them each morning with leftover food from the night before. In the doorway of their high-wire coop, she sprinkled grains of boiled brown rice and loops of cold spaghetti, like the Pope at the Vatican sprinkles water on Easter Sunday. They died, but did not rise again. At night, they clawed across her brain, pecking at her cells, until her son, her only son, came to bandage her head in white. But that was after her husband had ridden into Carlsbad on his bicycle made for two to break the glass windows of the new post office, to pelt the new supervisor with rocks, to throw the grenade he kept in the garage among his souvenirs from My Lai. The newspaper said, sometimes the brain explodes. When the sun turns south over Mamala Bay, Crystal is waiting. She likes the windward side where the rain gods pee. In a twisted aluminum chair beneath a pine tree at Waimanelo, she waits for lightning to strike. Even if her eyes are closed, she wants to know when it happens. So into the pleats of flesh around her throat, she has folded foil to improve the reception. On good days, oh, on good days, she wears red and crowns her hair with anthuriums. She saw an angel once down on the docks, hanging from the bow of a ship. How she would love to be that angel, yellow long hair floating on a wind. Sometimes, as the gale crosses to the sea, Crystal dances. Oh, Crystal dances like Salome. She makes her wish, a small one, but even the elves of Waimea Canyon, to whom she has offered 9 novenas, have been silent. After the incident at Carlsbad, their only son, Harvard 84, teaching philosophy at Old Dominion University, declared he was adopted. He refused to visit his father in the pen, but wrote long letters to the nation on behalf of political prisoners in Iran. It was he who sent Crystal to Hawaii to live in a kitchenette in Waikiki. But the room was claustrophobic, and one evening a voice called her from the sea, Crystal, Crystal, Crystal. No one has seen her since. They don't know how to look. Crystal is on the beach at Waimanelo, trying to recall with precision just when she had taken that first step toward cataclysm. Oh, she can remember old rhymes. Tuesday's child is full of grace. Wednesday's child must work for a living. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, shut the door. But she does not know why she has written P, R, A, Y on a piece of cardboard and pinned it to her chair. Oh, she remembers climbing 1,000 steps to Cocoa Head, but not coming down again. And she knows, oh, she knows, she once dove into the rocks at Ewa Beach, but was it the Samoan who fished her out, who caked her broken temples with black mud until she could think again? On a day the sky is gray, she looks up and sees a rainbow over Hawaii Kai. Oh, she must kiss it. So she pushes her cart from Waimanelo to Sea Life Park, east to the rainbow's end, where she can taste yellow and green and orange. She's already swallowed red and lots of blue. The sea is rough on the North Shore. Big rocks stand in her way. Still she pushes on. The sun is coming to suck her color. Push, push, push. Crystal, Crystal. Her cart rattles over stones to the end of the world. Okay, so I wrote this story about Crystal. 3 years later, I'm back in Hawaii. And I'm at this wonderful school that some of you will know the name, Punahou High School. It's the school your lovely president attended. Wonderful, wonderful school in Honolulu. And I'm reading, and then we're in an auditorium, by the way. And I've already started reading, and somebody puts up their hand and said, "But Dr. Flanagan, you were in Hawaii before. Have you ever written anything, set in Hawaii?" And I said, "Yeah, I happen to have this story called Homeless in Oahu." And I started to tell the story that I told a few minutes ago. People, believe me, I tell you no lie. Before I was halfway through the story, there was a loud noise at the front door of that auditorium. Everybody turned around. People gasped. Into the auditorium came that woman. This time, she didn't have a cart. She had several bags. So once somebody got up and helped her, she came right down and sat down in the front seat. And she opened, now, people are looking at me, looking at each other, wondering, am I going to continue to tell the story, and am I going to read the story? Because it seems that everybody knows this woman. They knew this is the one I'm talking about. So I'm embarrassed like hell now, She's sitting there, and she opens a bag, and she takes out popcorn. And she starts chewing popcorn. And not only does she chew the popcorn, she spits it. The first line in the story is about this woman spitting popcorn. So I took a deep breath and I said, well, she probably didn't hear what I was saying. She probably, I'm going to continue. I sort of collapsed the story a little bit, and then I read what I just read to you, Homeless in Oahu. Well, I think that was the most distracting thing that could have happened at that reading, because everybody's attention now, they forget everything else I read. All their attention is focused on this woman and what am I going to do after. Well, I barely finished the reading. The woman got up just as she had done the first time. It seems like she makes her escape very fast. And she dashed up, grabbed her bags, and headed out. People got up and followed her. Half the crowd following her, half the crowd telling me, follow her, follow her. People want to know whether what I had written about her was true. I said, I made it up. No. Somebody runs back down. She's in the bathroom. She's in the bathroom. Push me into the bathroom. I go in, and I'm embarrassed. I can't tell you. I'm so embarrassed. I go into, everybody leaves the bathroom. This woman and I are the only two in there. And she has turned on the faucet. The water's running. Her hands, all her bags are about her. This time, by the way, she's dressed in black. This woman has style. She has a black fedora. She has black boots. Every single layer is in black. Black beads. I mean, obviously this is a woman who had money at some point in her life, because her clothes, either that or she knows people who give away good clothes. You know, just good quality. And so the water's running, and you say the stupidest things at these moments, and I said, hi, I was just in there reading. Of course I was just in there reading, but you're embarrassed, you don't know what. She says, she shook her head, and I said, do you mind if I ask you something? I just need to ask you a couple things. She shook her head, and all this time the water's running, and her hands are under the faucet. And I said, well, where are you from? Are you originally from Hawaii? And she says, New York, New York, New York, New York. And she says it about 8 times. And I said, oh, okay. I used to live in New York. I said, well, what did you used to do in New York? And she says, I was a psychiatrist. 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 And she kept bending and bending and bending and bending. And I couldn't get to ask her another question. The water's running. I wanted to lean over and turn off the water, but I didn't know what that would do. And she kept saying over and over, I was a psychiatrist. So I said, all right, thank you very much, thank you very much, thank you very much. And I left. Well, there's a whole crowd of people waiting outside the bathroom. This is high school, right? All these students just waiting. What did she say? What did she say? I said, well, I hate to disappoint you all, but all I found out from her is that she's a psychiatrist and she's from New York. And then something that I think was quite miraculous happened. This young Asian girl, Indian girl, she was standing at the back, and I was eyeing her all the time. I could see that she wanted to talk to me, but she wanted to talk to me in private. She was waiting for all these people to go away. And finally, most of them did, and she came up to me and she said, I need to tell you something about that lady. She says, you're right. That lady is homeless. She said, my dad has a store, and she named the street. My dad has a store, and it's not down by the dock, not far from the dock. She said, that lady comes in every day. And sometimes she has this cart, sometimes she has all these bags, she smells, and I'm always chasing her out because I help my dad in the store in the afternoon after school. She says, I want you to know that I never imagined that this lady had some kind of life. I just always saw her as a homeless person. Until I heard your story about her, I never even thought that she was somebody with a life. That child was crying. Tears were running down that child. She says, Dr. Flanagan, I am so sorry. I promise you, from this day forward, I will never chase that lady out of the store. I will never do that, I promise. And of course, afterwards, it was a crying fest, but both of us crying. But to me, it was one of the most remarkable things that could have happened. That one story, I love that story because that one story changed this young girl's life. And I hope made a difference in this homeless lady's life. Because when she would go into that store again, she would be treated like a person. Thank you all. I want to give you time for questions.